Let's review how to manage or change job clocking on a service job in Black Pearl. So first of all, let's head to this account here, this sandbox account. And before we get into the specifics of managing or changing job clocking on a service job, let's have a quick reminder in that you will need the permissions to perform this task. So for an example, if you were a technician or a licensed user in this group, and this group had managed job clocking disabled, you would not be able to perform this task. If it's abled, of course, then you will. So let's go have a look at some active jobs that are in place. So here's some new jobs. Let's just change this to active instead. And let's have a look at some active jobs because we want to see some job clocking in progress. So let's look at this one here. And you'll see with this particular order that there are 3 technicians working on this one, Bart, Dylan, and Rick. And as you can see, they are all clocked on. So let's say that Dylan and Rick are still working on this job, but Bart decided to clock off at this point. Now you can see an entry has been created. Now, if you have those permissions, you can delete that entry if it was inaccurate. Perhaps Bart accidentally clocked on, or perhaps Bart forgot to clock on in time and started before 6:51 p.m. and actually started at, let's say, 6:31 p.m. Now you can save that entry as an accurate entry in there. Now, while we're on this subject, let it be known also that you can manually log time. Time on service jobs does not always have to come from job clocking. You can manually log time as well. So let's have a look at how we could do that. So let's say that earlier on this job, Bart Sampson put in 1 hour of time on there. And we're going to go ahead and log that time. So as you can see now, here's that other entry which was manually logged on the job. 1 hour, 42 minutes. Now, let's say Bart said, well, you know what? I actually did 2 hours. And so you say, well, okay, if 2 hours it is, then 2 hours it is. We're going to log 1 more hour onto that one. And you'll see that it won't let you do it. First of all, we need to have the technician in place. But second of all, you'll see here, the same entry already exists. Please select a different time. So that's one thing to be aware of, is if you are logging time manually, you cannot log the same overlapping times. So from here, Bart Sampson logged 9 a.m. till 10 a.m. And now this is across the whole platform. So if Bart were to try to log a 9 a.m. till 10 a.m. on a different service order, it would be rejected also. So this is where time clocking in the end is a whole lot more efficient than manually logging time anyway. Because if you're manually logging time, you also now kind of have to keep that pen and paper of, well, when did we put Bart's time in? Was it this time? Was it that time? Whereas if you are getting quite efficient with using the job clocking on here, logging on, logging off accordingly, now you will see the efficiencies of using this. Now, while we're on this one, let's just take one more quick look at what's happening here. Earlier on, we looked at the scheduler, and more in particular, the dashboard. So let's go back to that scheduler. Let's look at the dashboard, and let's see one other thing that's happening here. You'll notice before when we looked at the dashboard, we saw all of the data. Now look at this one. It's green. That means this is work in progress. This has a technician clocked on at the moment. So this is where you'll probably want to get this screen up on your service center eventually, because it dynamically refreshes on its own, just so you can have that quick overview of saying, hey, what's happening in our service department? And you can look right here and say, well, we've estimated 3.5, we clocked 1.7, we're doing good so far. And that's where this all ties in with job clocking, with technician logging, with payroll clocking, and efficiencies and proficiencies. Hope this video helped.